Hello everybody, I hope that you are good. We're going to talk about the madness that we saw yesterday with this 1 hour candlestick that was $2,000 down, $2,047 down. That's insane. And then we had this rejection over here, this bounce, that it was a bounce of another $1,100. So we're going to go through what happened yesterday and the next potential move for Bitcoin, okay? Well, I haven't seen this sort of candlestick for a long time. $2,000 candlestick. What is that? You can see that they retraced Tuesday move in one candlestick. Insane. Well, the first thing is that we were marking this liquidity pool over here, that it got retraced, and it was exactly around the $30,000 level psychological number. And what I was expecting, to be honest, was to break above the $30,000 because we had this overextended move. So the bulls were loud, and when bulls are loud, price goes down. The same as when bears are loud, price goes up. Okay, so we were expecting price to go between 30,200 and 30,600, consolidate over here, and then yes, retrace. Because that would have been the peak of euphoria for the bulls. Imagine them. Oh yes, we broke 30k, next is 40k, okay? You would have seen that all over Twitter, for example. Everybody would be euphoric. So that was my logic. You know, make them euphoric after breaking 30k and then dump. But no, the market maker just decided to go to 30k and straight dump. Okay, so that's why you should always mark these psychological numbers, specifically the whole numbers. 30k, 29,500, 29,000, every 500 or every 1,000. That's what I would recommend you. Okay, because you can see that in those zones is when you usually see the manipulation. Anyway, enough talking about what has already happened, and let's talk about what could potentially happen for Bitcoin next. So let's remove all of this. And well, first let's go to the daily time frame, because with this, I don't know where we are right now. I think we are good. Let me check the 50 MA. Yes, we are above support still. In fact, yesterday we tested again the 50 MA, and now we are filling this week over here, okay? So that's quite interesting. At the moment, you know, we are kind of safe, I would say, but let's go to the 1 hour time frame again, and let's see the imbalances, because this is something very important. There are two ways to trade this price action, okay? You could have traded this drop straight away, okay? If you did that, congratulations, because that was a big move. Or you could have traded the imbalances. For example, look at this large candle of $2,000. That's a massive imbalance, so you would expect Bitcoin to start to retrace it, and that's why it did straight away, okay? So you could have gone long at some point here to start to retrace this candlestick, okay? And now we're in the third way of trading this, that I would say takes longer, it's more tedious, it can be quite exhausting, but you can also trade it, and it's trading the imbalances that are left, okay? And we're gonna try to do so. So I would start by marking the imbalances that I can see. To the upside, I can see this liquidity pool hasn't been fully retraced, so that would be one zone that I'm interested. And also this week, okay, you might not see that it's a big week compared to the candle body, but if you actually check, this is a how big, $650 move, so it's a huge candle. No, I meant week, sorry. So let's start to market. That would be the 100% of the week, and then this would be about the 50% of the week. Let's name it. So the chart is organized. It's always good to name your zones and to have the chart organized, so you can always know why you mark that level and what you were talking about in the past, okay? So we have basically a liquidity pool to the upside of around $300, okay? Quite small. And then to the downside, we have this wick that is very interesting. Now, how can we know what zone is gonna get hit first? I would suggest first to go and check the S&P and the dollar index and the liquidation heatmap, okay? So let's do that first. Let's start with the DXY, because remember that Bitcoin trades against it, okay? So let's go to the 4 hour time frame. Okay, I see a wick already. Hang on, what happened yesterday? Let's see. Oh, I see. So we almost came back to this level, Okay, that's quite interesting. You know, I've been telling you about this chart for a while. As long as the DXY doesn't make a lower low, then we're gonna expect a bounce in this zone. Okay, but you can see that in the 4-hour time frame, there is a massive wick here. So what we would anticipate is that the DXY should come lower to at least fill the 50% of the wick. Of course, it can go to the 100%, but at least the 50%, and then potentially we would see a bounce. Okay, so according to that theory, if the dollar index goes down, Bitcoin should have a bounce in the short term. So keep that in mind. Now let's go for the S&P. Here it is. Alright, yeah, I have this chart quite under control because I checked it this morning. But basically, remember that we had this white box that it was support 4,100. Yesterday, no, 2 days ago, sorry, it lost that support and it went to this last zone. But yesterday there was quite a tricky move, and it was that it went below it. And if it goes below it and breaks below this zone, we could see the S&P going all the way to the 4,000 zone, which would be a massive drop, and I think Bitcoin would probably follow. Okay, well, will probably not, should follow. Now let's go to the 1-hour time frame. Let's see what happened, because I can see that it's bouncing again and we are above support, but the structure here is telling me that something might be happening. Printing at the moment is, well, we printed a lower low, and now we could be printing a lower high. Okay, because you can see that this high is lower than this, and this low is lower than this one. So if that's to confirm, then we could expect the S&P to go lower. Okay, to have another leg down. Now, if we go to the 15 minutes time frame, because there is another alternative what we could be seeing here, is that if we start seeing the S&P some kind of sideways move during at the start of the New York session, something like this, then we're going to expect a move up. So keep that in mind. At the moment, it's not looking great. Also, you have here this kind of trend line that everybody's going to start to draw. And when you see this type of trend line, what traders usually do, it's something like this. They're going to be, you know, opening longs every time it touches this trend line, because it worked here. Well, here not, because we still don't have a trend line. It worked here. It worked here. So why not here? Okay, and that is in one of these moments when it's gonna drop very aggressively to the downside. Okay, to trap those traders. So keep an eye on this. I think the S&P could be forming quite a bearish structure of lower lows and lower highs. If that's to confirm and we don't go above this high, 4,090, I would say, yeah, around this zone, then we could expect a move lower. But if we start seeing this kind of sideways move at the start of the New York session, we would expect a move high. So keep this in mind. Okay, let's check our liquidation heat maps, our great friend, the liquidation heat maps, and I'm sure it's going to be very messy in the 12 hours time frame after yesterday's move. Yeah, it's very loud at the moment. You can see you have some liquidity at 29,875, which I think is maybe the liquidity pool that we marked, okay? And to the downside, 27,950. But this doesn't give us much information because we are between two large liquidity zones. You know, yesterday's move were too aggressive, so there is liquidity at both sides. Now, in the 7 days time frame, let's see if we find something more interesting than the 12 hours time frame. You know, the 7 days time frame and the 1 month time frame usually are very good charts. Oh my, what is that? Let me check this. Okay. So apparently there is a lot of liquidations at 32,650. And I'm guessing that that's because, yeah, you can see that this bar starts to go more yellow from here. Okay. And that's because in this move down, people were adding to shorts. Okay. Or, well, even more in this area, to be honest, if you check with the bar above. So in this zone here, people are adding shorts, okay? But then we have this liquidation to downside that it's closer, and it also looks bigger at 26,850. That's below our wick, Okay, so there is more liquidity below our wick. Now let's go with this information to the Bitcoin chart and let's draw a projection. We're back with the Bitcoin chart and let's try to draw a projection with all of that information from the DXY, the S&P, the liquidation heat maps. And I know it's quite difficult because Asia really didn't move and London isn't. So, you know, they're kind of consolidating this zone and we could expect a move to either side. So it's kind of difficult, but what I would say that has more probabilities to play out is that if we see, you know, a pump first, because the DXY, it seems like it might try to fill that wick in the 4-hour time frames to the downside. So then when the DXY goes down, Bitcoin can go up. So I would like to see this first, you know, fill this liquidity pool, and then we could see a dump. Okay, where to? Well, or end target should be, I would say there are 3 targets here, okay, for taking profits if this plays out. At the moment, this is only speculating because we haven't even got here. I cannot even see the momentum and the strength of the move. So this is only speculating at the moment. But I would say that we have 3 potential take profits if this happened. Well, the first one would be the week, 50% of the week and the full week. So that would be, I usually take most of my profits at the 50% of the week. So that's 27,575. Then we also saw in the liquidation heat maps, remember in the 7 days time frame, that there is quite a lot of liquidity in this zone below at 26,850. Okay, so this is another area of interest. So price could come a bit lower. And then if we go to the 4-hour time frame, let's check that 50 EMA, because I've just noticed that something very interesting is happening here. All right, pay attention to this. You know, what we usually look for is, you know, a push above the EMA, retrace, practice a support, and continue the push up. Okay, here it didn't happen, didn't test that support, so it went higher and then it fell very strong yesterday, remember, and couldn't test the 50 EMA as support, so it went lower. Now that was last night. Now Wednesday at 8 p.m. UTC time, we see a move high, but still it hasn't tested the 50 EMA as support. So I think sooner or later Bitcoin has to test it. I don't know if it's gonna go up first and then come back down, but for sure this has to be a zone that Bitcoin has to come down to. Okay, that's right now 28,344. You can see in the top left. Okay, 28,344. So that would be our first take profits. If Bitcoin can hit this zone first, then I would open a short. Okay, and I will be aiming first the 50 EMA in the 4-hour time frame, then the week, and finally the liquidity that we've seen in liquidation heat maps at 26,850. It's not financial advice, it's only my personal opinion, my personal projection. I'm just here planning, speculating a potential next trade that I might take, and that's all it is. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.